Hi, this is a board workshop on economic development with the Mendocino County Board of Supervisors. Today's date. Do we need roll call?
Supervisor Delbar?
Here.
Supervisor Wattenberger?
Here.
Supervisor Finches?
Here.
Supervisor Smith? Here. Supervisor Colfax?
Here. Thank you. I'd like to welcome you all here today. This is a workshop. It's not intended to be a decision-making process. This is information exchange, general discussion between the board members and the CEO staff, and selected individuals from the community speaking toward individual items on the agenda. So again, I'd like to thank you all for being here and showing your interest in economic development in this county and leading us into the future years ahead of us. So, Mr. CEO.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. And thank you also, members of the audience, for showing up here today in this auspicious occasion. We've had a number of challenges over the last 6 months relating to economic development in the Chief Executive's office, not the least of which is that Tony Shaw had departed from our organization right before I came on board. So between Allison, myself, and the rest of the CEO staff, we've been challenged with trying to take a fresh look at what we want to do with economic development in this community. And part of our thought today behind this workshop, and I think as Allison makes her comments, you'll hear more of our thought process, but had to do with the fact of defining what true economic development is about. I think a lot of people use that term. You see a lot of counties out there that move forward with economic development, but each county does have a unique strategy about how they approach economic development based on their natural resources that are available to them in the particular circumstances of their job market. So what we're hoping today, after especially some of our speakers enlighten us, is that we will get some input that will help frame the discussion with the board as to what do we want our next steps to be with economic development. So those are some opening remarks, and I'll let Allison Lassie make an overview of the workshop.
Right, thank you. And glad to see everyone here, particularly all the panel members. I'm very glad to see all of you here. The purpose of today's workshop is to present to the board a number of perspectives on economic development from local people who are currently in business in Mendocino County or who support business on behalf of the county. And two of the major efforts in that regard are the Mendocino County Promotional Alliance and the Workforce Investment Board and their associated programs. So this workshop, as Tom indicated, is intended as a study and discussion session for the board. After hearing the presentations from what is an impressive array of speakers, the goal is for the board and presenters to engage in a discussion of what economic development looks like at this point in time and what type and level of economic development activity is appropriate for the county to be directly or indirectly involved in. And this is the beginning of what the executive office hopes will be an ongoing dialogue and an exploration by the county in conjunction with businesses and with community members. There are a number of people involved, a wide variety of people involved in a lot of ways in business and business support in Mendocino County. With board direction as we move forward, we will open the discussion further and involving all the community who are interested in economic development and the future of Mendocino County. So I really want to stress this is an opening discussion in that. The materials, there are packets for everybody, panel members, public, as well as the board. It's basically a reading file. This is not material that is necessary to have read before coming to the workshop, because the essence of the workshop is in the presentations and in the dialogue that's going to occur. But it is background reading material, and what we hope to do as we go forward is to continue to add to this reading file. So it's a number of articles about economic development efforts in other counties. It's some of the PowerPoint presentations that are going to be offered today, and it does have the working agenda in it, and so everybody should have a copy of the working agenda so that you can follow along. We always do produce a working agenda for workshops that has additional details like estimated timeframes you don't necessarily want to put out as the official published agenda, and then details on the speakers. All of the topics on the working agenda are reflected in the published agenda, but we have changed the order on a couple of things because the Workforce Investment Board presentation is a major presentation, and we had it at the end of a list of things, and so we gave it more prominence on the agenda. And we also moved a couple of brief items from the executive office to the beginning of the agenda so that, quite frankly, we could say our piece and get out of the way and let the presenters take it from there. I want to acknowledge in this overview that there is no outside expert speaker for today, and clearly what we should have done is put tentative or invited or whatever, and we didn't, and we will do that next time. More time was needed for a speaker to schedule and prepare for this workshop than was available, and so in the first item on the agenda, we will talk under that first heading about how we plan to go about getting board direction for outside speakers at a future date, and we've got a number of options for that. Then the executive office will provide brief background and several options for economic development, and then we will move on to the 3 panel presentations. The first one up is, I don't know if it's Mendocino Futures or Mendo Futures or both, Mendo Futures. A group of business people concerned about the county's future in the role business plays, and so they will start off. Then the Mendocino County Promotional Alliance will talk about the perspective of the role of tourism, and then the Workforce Investment Board, which brings together all government-funded programs and local businesses for workforce and business development, will present information on their efforts to work together, as well as the series of cluster analyses that they're working on. So more about that later. Following these presentations, the floor will return to the Board of Supervisors, and we're for a discussion about where the County of Mendocino should be headed with regard to supporting economic development. And out of that discussion, the executive office hopes to get direction regarding several things. And I'll tell you up front what we're hoping for direction on. Further information that the board is interested in receiving on this topic. You know, if we have a sense of where you want to go with this, then we will look those things up and add them to your reading file. Any additional workshops, study sessions, or presentations that the board would like to have, and that includes any outside speakers. Any options for county economic development activity that the board would like to have reviewed and formally presented for their action. So if there are specific strategies that you want to pursue more in depth, or you would like us to have reviewed and pros and cons brought back to you, we can definitely do that. And then any public forum, economic summit, or other conference that the board would like to see take place. A number of other counties have done something like that. Actually, Mendocino County has done it 15 years ago now, but you know, those are all options. This is a starting point for those things. So in conclusion, our goal here is dialogue, not debate. It's opening a discussion about the county's possible roles in economic development and getting board direction on how we want to pursue that. And what we hope to come out with all together is a commitment among all of us to building a prosperous, healthy, and sustainable county economy that includes all of our communities. So that's what this workshop is about. So, any questions or comments on it?
A couple of comments for housekeeping. Restrooms are in the hallway on the left as you